Welcome back to the Aeternum News Network, your podcast for everything New World. This is episode number 8, and I am Davrim, and we are recording this live on Twitch. We do it every single Friday that, I'm actually in town. I was on vacation last week. Stream starts around 6 o'clock. We usually get the podcast going about 6:15 to 6:30. And like I said, we record it live on Twitch. So if you want to come and join the conversation, you're more than welcome to twitch.tv/Davrim. Again, every Friday, stream starts at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, like all of the streams. Well, except Saturday and Sunday, but you can check the schedule. You can read. And if you can't, find someone who can read, because I don't have time to go through all that stuff. It's already typed out for you. I don't have time. I don't have time for that. Absolutely not. So, obviously, I was on vacation last week, so there was no episode last week. And some things have happened, obviously, in the game. We had and again, I don't like their naming convention. We had the January update come in when I was gone, which made me feel really behind when I got back in town on Sunday. Super, super far behind, which I'm not, but it just feels that way. With what came down the pipe on the January update. I again think it should be called the February update, but I just need to get off that, and it's not they're not going to change what they're doing. They're not going to change that. So why should I sit on my grand soapbox of nothingness and bitch? It's they're just not going to do it. They're just not going to change it. Anyway, so in the January update, the big thing was mutations, right? So this concept that is obviously comes directly from World of Warcraft. Their Mythic Plus system in World of Warcraft, where each week, now in World of Warcraft, all dungeons are Mythic Pluses, or can be Mythic Pluses, the max level dungeons, and then there's some sort of additive as you go up in the tiers of Mythic Plus. If you've never played WoW before, and you've lived under the rock for the past 15 years of MMO, history, basically you get some sort of thing in your dungeon. May it be a damage buff to the mobs, a hit point buff to the mobs, some sort of debuff to you which causes you damage. Something crazy that is not normal that makes the dungeon harder. And you can continue to level these up. And in the World of Warcraft world, it's infinite. In the New World thing, it's, I think, 10 is the highest, I believe, to my knowledge. And basically, you have these things that you have to now overcome. Mobs are going to hit harder. They're going to have more hit points. You're going to have higher gear. And that system's stupid, but you have to have higher gear in order to either take the hit or actually deal damage. And it's not forgiving. The New World system is not forgiving as far as gear score. Obviously, New World came out and the watermark system, like it, love it, hate it, barf on it, whatever you feel about the watermark system, it is the system that they chose to implement. And overall, I think the system is, I will say it's okay. But New World is not being built for a casual player base, which is not a good thing. The casual player is what keeps a game floating. It keeps a game alive. It's a consistent players that log in every couple days. You always know that these folks are going to be playing the game. But the problem is New World is not based for a casual player. And to be honest, from the very beginning, it wasn't based for a casual player. Are there casual players of New World? Absolutely. Are these players probably going to get bored, burn out, and tired because they can't do things once they get max level or they get the equipment that they want? Yes, probably, because a lot of players who are playing, or have been playing hundreds, if not, like myself, over 1,000 hours in this game in 3 months, we've got the gear, and even myself who has crossed over 1,000 hours in this game since it launched, I'm behind from a lot of players in my guild. Now, given I don't play games like I used to, where I'm, hammering out hours upon hours per day, but I definitely would say I play more than a casual player, right? I'm streaming this 4 days a week, streaming Sea of Thieves the other day, and each of those streams is between 3 and 6 hours long, depending on the day. But I have a real job, and that plays into it. I'm not going to. For a long time, I've forced my life around my gaming schedule, which is not a healthy thing to do. And I won't do that anymore. I will always keep my healthy life schedule, and games will fill in the times that I'm free. That's just how I do it now. I think it's a healthier way to live. It's better for my mental state and what have you. But I've put, well over 1,000 hours into this game since launch, and most of my gear is right around 600, a couple pieces above 600. But my watermark's not 600, and for those of you who may be new to New World and found this podcast or are watching on the YouTube, thank you for that. You might not understand necessarily how the watermark system works, and it's basically taking account for your highest piece that you've picked up for that particular item slot, right? So you've got head, chest, hands, legs, feet, shield, and then you've got a variety of different weapons. You have, amulet, ring, and earring. Each of those slots are individually watermarked. And so whatever the highest piece of gear that you looted up until recently is what is your watermark, right? 600 now being the max. It used to be 590 before this patch. Now you can go up to 600. And there's a variety of ways you can obviously increase your watermark. You can do the elite chests that are around the world. All the servers do chest runs throughout the day and evening. You can do Genesis. You can do Lazarus. You can do the arenas. All those things will give you an opportunity to get your watermark up. And then in the December update, with the winter event, they introduced gypsum, which gives you the ability to get these little crystals. You turn in the crystals in a couple different towns. It gives you a guaranteed watermark increase on whatever item that you select out of the list. And a couple of these systems have been adjusted. The gypsum system has been adjusted now with the mutations update. You have no cooldown on creating the gypsum. You still have a 24-hour cooldown on creating the actual item piece, but you don't have a cooldown on making gypsum, so you can make as much gypsum as you want. They kept the diamond gypsum in from the winter event. In the winter event, you used to be able to get the diamond gypsum from going and paying homage at the holiday trees in town. You could get 3 per day. Now you can kill things or harvest things and get juniper berry bags, and inside those will be diamond gypsums, of which, again, you could only get 3 per day. So you can still continue to get your diamond gypsums. You're guaranteed 3 of those a day. You get your topaz gypsum from killing level 60 plus mobs, 55 plus mobs. You can get the topaz gypsum. Invasions give gypsum. OPR gives gypsum. All these different places get refining, crafting, all those different things give gypsum. So there's a lot of different ways to get gypsum and get your gear up. However, it takes a lot. It does take a lot. And over 1,000 hours right now, I can tell you my amulet, my earring, and my necklace are not anywhere near 600. I think 550 is my highest on those. My main weapon, my sword, it's 600. My shield is 600. All my armor is 600 and a couple pieces above that. And, that's about it. So I have a lot of work to do before I can participate in these mutations. The new content, the new challenging dungeon mechanic, which I like their dungeons, right? For me as an MMO player, and that's really all I play, grinding the same dungeon over and over and over 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 times a day, I have no problem with that. I have zero problem with that. I know there's a lot of players out there who are like, this is boring. I've done this, enough already. I've done it. Some people don't even want to do it each day, let alone me, who could do it 5, 8, 10 times a day and be ready to do another one so long as I've got time to play. I have no issue with that. I think the dungeons could use some tweaking. I think some of their mechanics that they have on bosses are a little lame, especially the last boss of Lazarus. But in general, that grind doesn't bother me. I know it bothers some of you out there. I know it bothers many players out there. And the idea of doing PvE dungeons for many players is lame and stupid, and PvP should be the only thing. Well, yeah, whatever. I like PvP. I like PvE. I'm a MMO grinder. I will do Lazarus 10 times in a day and still want to do it 11th time. That's just me. I'm down to do dungeons. I'm down to do OPR. I'm down to do wars, invasions, whatever the case may be. I just enjoy playing the game. But what we run into now with this system is players such as myself, over 1,000 hours in the game, playing every single day just about. My gear is not to a point where I can push up mutations yet because I'm not 600 in every spot. So my overall gear score is only 600, which means technically by the recommended, I am 2 item levels or 2 gear score below the first mutation. Now, I have completed the first mutation. I didn't think it was that bad. As a tank, I don't feel that I got hit too horribly bad. I thought my damage was okay. But if I was slightly lower, let's say I was at a 598 trying to do a mutation 1, it would be much more challenging. Let's say you're a 590 trying to do a 6, the gear score of 602. You would struggle, right? So the line between being able to get through in time without wipes, not being, one shot or pretty close to one shot, or even being able to put out the damage in order to kill things, such as the first boss in Lazarus, who gets really RNG crazy if you don't kill her in time. Like, it gets nuts how RNG crazy she gets. That becomes a problem. And there's a lot of players out there who, again, have less playtime than me, want to do this new stuff, but are unable to because of the system that Amazon has put in place. Again, I have no issue with the watermark system. I have no issue with that whatsoever. But this requiring a mutation, requiring this watermark gear score for mutations, I think is really, really quite lame. If you're a good player and you know how to play your class, you should be able to get in there and give it a good shot. You shouldn't be automatically nerfed into the fucking ground just because your watermark is not up. I think that is absolutely ridiculous. I think that's absolutely stupid. Should the mobs hit harder? Yes. Should you do reduced damage? Yes, but it shouldn't be a point if I'm at a 590 gear score trying to do a mutation 1 or a mutation 2, and I'm a good player, I should be able to still be able to not maybe do amazing in the run, but I should be able to still be an active participant in that dungeon, and right now you can't. Because you will get destroyed and you will not be able to put damage in because of the gating that they have put in. On top of that, you also have the time gating of you can only get, you yourself can make 1 Lazarus orb or 1 Genesis orb or 1 Dynasty orb. You can make 1 mutation orb and you can purchase 1 of each of those each week. It's completely gated, not only by the gear in order to participate, but it's also gated by the number of dungeon orbs you yourself can make. Can you go out and purchase them from other people? Absolutely. Gold is an infinite resource in this game, but because of all the gating, because of the bugs, because of the exploits, because of the issues that Amazon still has not resolved in a state where they should have been fixed before the game released, what you're now running into is players can't get into this stuff because they don't have the gear score. Players cannot get this gear because you can't just go to the auction house anymore and buy 600 gear or 598 gear or 599 gear. You can, but based on your watermark, that gear now de-levels basically. So if your watermark is, 560 and you buy a 600 gear, guess what? That thing's like 560, 567, something like that. It's not 600 gear. And because you purchased it, it doesn't affect your watermark. Yes, they added the ability to craft stuff in order to get your watermark up. They added the gypsums in there. They increased the watermarking items dropped in dungeons. Absolutely. The problem is the content is here now, and what they put in order to get your gear score up is not a good catch-up system. It is absolutely not a good catch-up system and still requires players who might not be able to play very often, or myself who plays every single day and still just grinding that gear score up in order to participate in stuff. It sucks. It really, really, really sucks. And then there's players out there who don't enjoy any sort of crafting, and so it just makes things harder for them to do that. The catch-up mechanic they put in, it was a drop in the bucket of the issues with the watermark system and the time gating that they're putting in with the gear score gate, and on top of the gear score gate, you've got the time gate as far as crafting these particular orbs. And then You're going to say, Davrim, you can just go out and purchase these orbs. The problem is your player base is declining. When your player base is declining and the entire game is based around a player-driven economy where the only way you can sell something that you pick up or a resource that you gather, the only way you can do that is to sell it to another player. Thus, the demand has to be there for that particular item, and there has to be players on to purchase them. That is, the Amazon Gaming is right now at a critical state of this game. Many players say, you'll see it all over Reddit, you'll see it all over Twitter, you'll see it on YouTube, wherever the case may be, you will hear players say this game is dead. I beg to differ. The game is not dead. Is there opportunity here for it to die? Yes, and it can die very quickly. Absolutely can die very quickly. Will it die? Probably not. It probably will not die. It will limp along, and they'll keep merging servers until there's one server per region, and it'll stay there until eventually Amazon just stops making money. Because Amazon is not going to keep something open. They're not going to be utilizing, even though Amazon Gaming Studio is utilizing Amazon servers, let's be clear, the computing power of servers cost money. So Amazon is using money in order to keep this game alive. Not only that, but paying for the employees who are developing it, managing them, managing the studio, marketing, all that stuff, PR, blah, 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 blah. They're paying all that stuff. If they are not making that money to not break even. Amazon's not a company that breaks even. If you're breaking even, you're failing at Amazon. You have to be making profit. So clearly they haven't shut the game down. So they're making money, right? They made hand over fist at release, right? I think this game is going to continue to make them money through the microtransaction system for quite some time. So the game is not going to die. So it may feel like it's dying, and I would agree with that, but it's not dead. It is not dead. It's absolutely not dead. The statistics from Steam says it's not dead. For example, I pulled these stats earlier. I'm going to refresh the page right now. Refresh the page right now. So currently, right now, at the time of this recording, there are 60,000 players, almost 61,000 players playing this game right now. Today's peak was 109,000 players. Overall hours played by all players is 45 million hours played from all players. Just to give you kind of an idea of where New World is currently fitting in as far as games on Steam, it is right in the ballpark of Ark, Mira, Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege, Rocket League, Dead by Daylight, Destiny 2, Team Fortress 2, FIFA 22, let's see here, Football Manager 2022, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel, which just launched, I believe, today, Grand Theft Auto 5, it's right in there with that, Sid Meier's Civilization 6, Valheim, it's right in that range, right? It's right in that just out of the top 10 range, okay? So it is still a very actively played game on Steam every single day. But with, again, the counter argument to that is, okay, when this game launched the first month that it was going, peak players were close to 1 million peak players. Average players daily was 410,000. That was in October 2021. Jump ahead a month, November 2021. 155 average players per day, 357,000 players peak in November. So you're talking a third of the players, right? 2/3 of the players gone after 30 days. Understandably, the game was garbage at launch. It was absolute garbage. So I can understand that. 2/3 of the player gone. Plus, you can understand that too because the hype was over, right? People played it. People got max level. They were done with it. That's all they wanted to do. So you can understand that. Fast forward now to the last 30 days of this game. So we're talking in January, beginning of February. We went from October, the launch, the month basically of launch, 410,000 average players, close to 1 million peak players. 30 days now, 60,000 average players a day, 109,000. They've lost another third, right? So they're down They've lost another 2/3 from their numbers in November. So the game has declined. Now, what we can though take from this is the game hasn't really changed as far as player base. It has a little bit, but it's only changed 6% in the past 30 days. That's all it's changed, is 6%. The game is starting to get to a level out point. All games, regardless of how amazing their launch was and how amazing their content updates are, they eventually get to a level out place. And I believe New World is falling into that level out place. Are they going to hemorrhage some more players? Yes. Are they going to have months where it spikes back up and players come back? Absolutely. But they're starting to get to that level off phase. I look at a game like Sea of Thieves, another game that I play, another game that I do content for, another game that I have podcasts for, and it's in the same state, right? There have been players that have said Sea of Thieves is dead for years. After year 1, players said this game's dead. It's bad. It's gone. Last summer, they signed a deal with Disney, and it jumped back up, right? Anything can happen when it comes to gaming. Anything can happen. And the fact of the matter is you see month after month after month, Sea of Thieves decline. Season Pass jumps up a little bit, decline. So if you look at the numbers, you say, well, they're going in a bad direction. But that's the thing with gaming. There are so many games out there, and games are being released all the time. All the time new games are being released. And people are going to bounce. So if you are a person that's excited about a new game that's coming out, let's say the game that everyone's talking about right now is Lost Ark, right? Lost Ark, a game that's been out for a while in Russia, an Eastern-based MMO, top-down Diablo-style game, hyped up right now. Everyone's talking about Lost Ark. People are playing on the Russian servers to get ready, blah, 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 and Lost Ark launches next week. What's going to happen there? A whole bunch of players are going to play it. And it's going to decline. It's going to decline. And at some point, months, maybe a year down the road, someone's going to declare that the game is dead. It is not. It's just getting to that leveled out point. It's just not as popular as it was. And I can tell you that that's going to happen to every single game, especially MMOs, because MMOs have grinds and people have different determinations of what they feel they have completed this game at. And some people believe that they completed this game when they got to 60. Other people believe that they completed this game when they won their first war and they got their first territory. People believe that's the end. People believe that they beat their first invasion and that was the end. And that's fine. It's all fine. But for players out there who believe New World is dead right now, you're wrong. You're completely wrong. It is reaching a leveling out point, but it is at a critical point where the players like myself, like players who have played since day one or beta or alpha, who have seen this game with bugs and exploits and all the issues, and they're seeing things still not be fixed. There is a point in time where those players, the players that you can count on to be here every single day, are going to eventually start to jump ship. Some of them probably already have. I know some that have played this game hours upon hours each day, and they're starting to jump ship because they're not seeing the effective change. Now, hopefully in February, they promised the February update would be all bugs. They're focusing on the bugs. They're focusing on exploits. They're focusing on the issues we've been bitching about for a long time. Again, I don't agree with that development cycle. I think they should be doing bug fixes every single week. Whatever the case may be, the bugs need to be addressed every single week. You can't hold it for a month. You have to fix the bugs as fast as you can, especially in a game like this that has been plagued with issues since day one. Issues which were reported in beta, issues which were reported in alpha, issues that are still there to this day. These things should be your main focus, not 3 months, 4 months down the line. Oh, we're going to halt all content and we're going to just do a bug fix. I appreciate you wanting to fix stuff, but you can't halt the progression of content where people are going to be starved of content just to fix your mistakes. You have to be doing this weekly. Weekly resets. I don't care. Take the servers down for a day each week. I don't care. Take the servers down for a day and a half each week. Just get the bug fixes rolling and don't wait entire patch. Because what's going to happen is when you roll out these bug fixes, something else is going to break. And then you're like, well, we can't spend another month on bug fixes. We've got to get some content out. Then you're going to introduce new content, which is going to introduce new bugs. And now that bug list is starting to grow and 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 grow. And then you're going to be like, well, this month is going to be another bug fix month. You can't do that because your players are not going to tolerate that. Players are already not tolerating that. You're getting destroyed. Amazon Gaming Studio is getting destroyed on every single platform of social media out there. They are getting destroyed by players who are literally pointing at their game and saying, what the hell is this? What in the hell is this? There's some pretty nasty gamer words being thrown out there, which is pretty ignorant and stupid, but I can't blame people for getting mad. They bought a game. The game has a lot of potential. There's a lot of cool things in this game that other games don't have to offer, and Amazon is literally pissing it away. They're pissing their player base away because they can't get through their heads that they've got to be constantly fixing stuff each week. I can tell you right now, as a player, would I be upset if they took all the servers down for an entire 24 hours every single week? I would be bummed out. But if I logged on the next day and saw another major bug fixed or better, that heartburn would slowly go away. Weapon swapping. If all of a sudden they said, we're going to take the servers down for 24 hours this week, and then you can play again. And I log back in and weapon swap bug is completely fixed. It is 100% fixed. And every time I try to swap my weapon, it works flawlessly. I just forgot you took the servers down for 24 hours. In fact, I probably just got drunk, passed out, and completely blacked out and forgot that day existed. That's how happy your players would be because a major bug that they've been wanting fixed has been fixed. They don't care that you took them down for 24 hours. They don't care that they didn't get to play for 24 hours. They log in and see something that's stupid being fixed. They've just forgot that you took the servers down for 24 hours. Let's say they take the servers down for 24 hours. Next time you log in, there's no lag in wars anymore. You can run max settings, everything on the max. Everything looks beautiful, and there's no lag in wars. There's no slide showing in wars. We as players, we just forgot that you took the servers down for 24 hours. We literally forgot. We're not saying we're sorry because we're pissed off. Sure, we might have sent an angry tweet or made an angry Reddit post about how stupid a company is for taking a live game, a 24-hour, 365 game down for 24 hours. We just forgot about that. We're not gonna tweet an apology that we're sorry that we got mad at you or stuff like that. But I promise you, the players forgot. Gamers have very short-term memory. Gamers have extremely short-term memory. If they didn't, World of Warcraft would have died at Warlords of Draenor. World of Warcraft would have died again at Mists of Pandaria. World of Warcraft would have died again at Battle of Azeroth. World of Warcraft would have died again with Shadowlands. Gamers have very short memories. We can hate your game so much that we stop playing. And then you put out a cool update, a good update. We come back and then all of a sudden we love your game and we completely forgot about the garbage that you used to hand us, right? Take your game down for 24 hours and start putting bug fixes in. Start doing it. You've got a plethora of them. Hell, you just launched Mutations, and I talked about this a couple episodes ago. QA. You just launched a mutation system that is supposed to change each and every week. So we got Lazarus, and we got our 3 mutation things in Lazarus. When the week turns over, that is supposed to go to the next one. Guess what? It didn't. They had to tweet and say, oh, we're sorry, it's not working as intended. When we reset the servers, do our weekly reset, it'll be on the next dungeon. Okay. Why didn't it work as intended? It's your brand new feature. It's your brand new theft of idea from World of Warcraft, a weekly cycling dungeon challenge that allows you to level up your gear higher and higher and challenge yourself. Your big thing, your big patch, and you didn't even test that it's going to change over automatically each week? Seems to be a huge miss considering it's a weekly changing thing that that you showed us. That's basically like, hey, we've got this new amazing jar of peanut butter. Check it out. And you hand it to me and I open it. Not only is it 90% empty, but what is left in there is ketchup. It's not peanut butter. You promised me peanut butter and you gave me a half empty jar that says peanut butter, but the rest of it's filled with ketchup, right? You told us we were going to have weekly changing mutations with weekly changing affixes. And guess what? You didn't do it. You absolutely didn't do it. And you had to come back and look like you had to put your foot in your mouth and say, oh, we're sorry, it's not working as intended. Give us a day or two and we'll change it out. That shouldn't even happen. It should be part of your QA process. If it's a weekly reset thing, you should see if it's working or not on your damn PTR. If you're manually pushing it on PTR, guess what? It's not an automatic reset thing. QA, gaming and QA. Ketchup and peanut butter, Tanner, that's absolutely correct. It's absolutely disgusting. But my point is, they showed us this and they gave us this. I was promised filet mignon and you gave me half chewed up New York strip. And there wasn't even bacon on it. It was half eaten, chopped up, and God forbid it was cooked medium well. Jesus. But that's my point with these games. Yes, gamers have short memories. But if every single time you're giving us garbage that is breaking other stuff and it's not working, you can't let our short little goldfish brain memories reset and forgive you and be nice. Because it's all the time negative, 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 negative. That is the critical state that Amazon Gaming Studios is right now with New World. If they continue down the path where they can't get bugs fixed quickly, efficiently, and weekly, and their new content that they show us in bright, shiny things on their forums do not work when they come out, we're not going to forget. And thus, your players are not going to be leveled out like they are leveling out now. They are just going to go, and the game's going to go tits up. It's not dead yet, but it's dying. And you are at a critical state now, only 4 months into your game, that you have to make some really hard decisions. Really hard decisions they have to make at that studio. I don't know if the leadership they have at that studio is able to make those decisions. I don't know if they know how to make those decisions. It's their first major release. I don't know if they're capable of that. I can tell you this. Papa Jeff Bezos, though, you stop making him money, he's going to get rid of it. Right? The only reason this game is still alive right now is because it's still showing a profit on the Amazon books. If it stops showing a profit on the Amazon books, it's gone. As soon as it stops showing a profit on the Amazon books, it's gone. The only reason it's still alive is it's showing profits. Only reason. So, mutations. First off, I wasn't happy that gaming companies always steal from each other. It's clear. It is clear that gaming companies steal from each other. Dota was originally a Warcraft 3 minigame. It became a standalone game. League of Legends ripped off Dota and made League of Legends. Heroes of the Storm ripped off League of Legends and made Heroes of the Storm. Counter-Strike was out there, and now there's Valorant, which is a ripoff of Counter-Strike. Right? Like, these games rip each other off all the time. They add their own twists to them. They add their own turns to them. But they're just ripped off other things from other games. Mutations are nearly in a direct ripoff from Mythic Pluses of World of Warcraft. A direct ripoff. You have a time limit. You are penalized by dying. You are penalized if you don't kill enough mobs. You're penalized if you're not killing enough named or like boss style mini bosses and boss mobs. those are all penalties. And based on how you beat those penalties, in Warcraft, you had a 3-star rating, 1, 2, 3 stars. In New World, you've got bronze, silver, gold. You get silver or gold, you move on. It's literally the exact same system. There are 3 mutators, and based on how you do and how high up your mutator orb is, depends on how many of those mutations are affecting you. Steep steps. Welcome to the podcast. Welcome. I don't necessarily, now given, I have to put the caveat in here that unfortunately I was on vacation last week and I've only been able to do Mutator 1. I've only been able to do Mutator 1, and that's because my gear still sucks, right? I'm still working on getting my watermark up because, again, we talked about that system and how garbage the watermark system is, blah, 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 blah. And I know some of my friends, my company members, I know they're up there 5, 6, 7, 8s, maybe even 9s. I don't know if some of the folks that I play with are at 9s yet. I would like to be there. But here's my issue with that. I believe, and someone correct me if I'm wrong, Mutator 10 is the highest you can go. Mutator 10. Why in the hell, in the first week of your system, do you already have players able to do Mutator 9s? How stupid is your system? A new content patch, which is supposed to last you, mind you, February, you already announced before you drop mutators, February was going to be a non-content patch, and it was going to be a bug fix patch. So March is the next content patch. So 2 full months of gameplay, and in the first week, your players have already been able to do almost, if not, I'm sure there's someone out there who's probably done a 10 already beating that content in 1 week. In 1 week. That tells me it wasn't cooked long enough. That tells me that even though you time gated it like stupid idiots, that tells me that even though you gated it through the watermark system like stupid idiots, just because you were stupid, you still put out a unbaked solution that people were able to slam through in 1 week. Correct me if I'm wrong, but in 2 months, that is 8 weeks. So what are those players, those, to be honest, probably your hardcore players, the players who are, doing your wars every single night, who are doing your invasions every single night, who are showing people that the game, is fun with PvP and OPR and wars and invasions. They literally are your lifeblood. And they beat your content in 1 week. And they have 7 weeks left to do nothing. That is 7 weeks. It's going to be 6 once it comes out. That's 6 weeks that they can now become addicted to Lost Ark or another game and not come back to New World. Your top end players, your content creators, your YouTubers, right? As a game levels out and a game dies or is dying, your creators, your people promoting your game, they're going to move on to the next thing that's going to get them paid. They're going to move on to the next thing that's going to get them Twitch viewers and subs. They're going to move on to the next thing that they can make videos and podcasts about that gets them paid through Patreon or through ad revenue on YouTube. You can't create content that is supposed to last 8 weeks and it lasts 1. Yes, it was only Lazarus. So there's Dynasty. Don't even get me started on Dynasty because that's the mutator up right now. Talk about a punt. Not only do you not get legendaries out of Dynasty doing mutators, but all the shit you get out of Dynasty, regardless of if it's 590, 595, 600, 615. It's still a stupid ass purple that only has 2 perks. How literally stupid can you be that you roll Dynasty into Lazarus and Genesis and you don't give it equivalent loot upgrades as Lazarus and Genesis? There are so many players right now who are literally taking this entire week off of the new content because they're saving their stuff for next week when hopefully it's going to be Genesis or Lazarus again, and we can actually go in there and start getting loot again. This was a complete and utter punt. You bring out this new thing, you say, I'm going to take this. To be honest, Dynasty is a cool dungeon. I think Dynasty is a cool dungeon. The problem is, why the hell will I run it when I'm not going to get gear upgrades? Sure, I might get a 600 earring or whatever. It's still only going to have 2 perks, where if I go to Lazarus and get a 600 earring, it's going to have 3 perks. What in the hell are you thinking? It's not thought out. It's half-baked. It's bad. And that is what is going to continue to chip away at the player base that is keeping this game on above the freaking black line, keeping it profitable. It's going to keep going down, and eventually it's going to be done. And I don't want to see it to be done. I love this game. I think it has a lot of potential. But Amazon has to get their heads out of their ass and start actually working on things in a way that's going to keep players / bring players back. And when you're facing down a game like Lost Ark, when you're facing down a game like Final Fantasy XIV, that's about to, I think, have an update. When you're facing down a game that's still out there, Guild Wars, that just dropped an expansion. When you're facing down a game like World of Warcraft, who's in a bad state right now, just got bought out by Microsoft and is going to have great content coming up, you cannot punt like this. You cannot do it. Arena PvP. How many? Okay. Since the beginning of New World, how many updates have there been to make content for PvP? Four months in, and we've gotten nothing. A game that's literally centered around territory control and PvP has had no PvP content since then. OPRs were supposed to be out on launch and didn't work. I don't consider bringing OPRs in a content update for PvP. To my knowledge, there has been 0. Because OPRs were supposed to be there on launch, and they were broken. They're still broken. They're just better. They've had balancing. They've had new weapon. I hate that. I love that weapon and hate that weapon at the same time. If I get screamed and ice spiked one more effing time, I'm going to lose my marbles. They've had updates to make wars less laggy. They're still laggy. But as far as new things, new content, I consider the winter event, I consider that PvE. There wasn't any PvP involved in that. We now have mutators, which is PvE. We know, the data mines has already done it, that there's arena PvP in there. Hell, we already have arenas around the world. They're big. Why can't there be some sort of queuing system where you spawn in a 2v2, a 3v3, a 4v4, a 5v5, whatever the case may be, you spawn into the Eden Grove arena or the Reekwater arena. We have arenas already in here because there's mutators. You spawn in there and you go at each other. Why, when we introduced the Umbral system in order to upgrade your gear, was it not added to PvP? Is it coming? Yes. Is it there now? No. So what is the incentive in a PvP-based game? And anyone out there who says it's not a PvP-based game, look at the map. You have 3 factions fighting each other for control of cities and territories. It is a PvP game. Yes, it's PvP. Make the E really small. The entire game is based around fighting each other. every content update that comes out should also include something for PvP players, because that's the majority of your players. That's what people want. Yes, OPR is better. It's still not great. Arenas have been data mined. I don't know why they're not in there. Maybe they'll be in there for March. Maybe March will be the PvP update. Wars were laggy slideshows. They still have lag. That is the issue right now with New World, is they can't get ahead because they keep putting themselves behind. That's the issue they're running into right now. So it's definitely at a critical state. Is it savable? 100%. It is 100% stable, savable. Are they going to probably have to piss some players off in order to save it? Yeah. Yeah, and I think the best way to do that is take the game down for an entire day each and every week and push some freaking patches. Players are going to be pissed that they can't play for that week. But if you make a difference the next day they log in, they're going to forget about it. We gamers have the memory of a freaking goldfish. Trust me. Trust me, we'll forget about it. But I really just want a fully baked solution. That's what I want to see. And I've talked about that on other shows that I do when it comes to game development. I want you to QA your work. Don't put players in charge of your QA. Include them in that process, but you should have your own QA system. You know what you changed in the code. You know what you added to the game. So you know what you should be testing. Don't depend on players to test all your shit for you. But that's what games are doing right now. And so stuff is getting through the cracks. Mutators not changing properly. Big example. QA and fully bake your solution. You can upgrade your gear. Great. That's amazing. But you can only upgrade your gear through PvP or PvE ways. And that's gated, which is also gated on top of gating. Open it up. Fully bake that solution. Not all players are here to do Dynasty. Not all players are here to do Genesis and Lazarus. Not all players are here for that. Give the players who are doing PvP an option to get Umbral Shards, to upgrade their PvP gear. Give Umbral Shards to Wars. Give them to Invasions. Stop gating all this shit behind your damn watermark system. Give players the opportunity to cash in as many Umbral Shards as they can. Not an infinite amount, right? You want this content to last 8 weeks until the next content comes out. But give them the opportunity to get these shards to upgrade their gear in a variety of different ways. Not just gypsum casts, not just dungeons. Give it to us in a variety of ways. So no matter what we like to do as players, beat the shit out of someone else with a hammer and an axe, shoot the hell out of someone with a freaking broken ass sniper rifle, do a dungeon and get destroyed by the snake bitch, or craft. Why can't you give Umbral Shards to max level crafters who are making things? Why can't they get Umbral Shards? Why? I don't understand. This game has a variety of different ways of leveling. It has a variety of different ways to play. Why not give players a variety of different ways to do what they need to do to get their gear to where they want it to be? It makes zero sense that they push this out. It was broken, and they have so many gates on top of it that I'm not a casual player. I'm not. And I still can't get to where I need to be to do what I need to do. That's insane. That's insane. 1,000+ hours in this game, and I'm not at a point where I can do a mutation 2. 1,000 hours in this game, and I'm not at a point where I can do a mutation 2. What about people out there who have families and have jobs, and they're at like 600 hours, max level 600 hours? They have no shot at being able to do mutations for months from now. That's not cool. Should everyone be able to get everything new when it comes out? No. People should have to work for it. But there's a limit. And this mutations thing is just absolute madness to me. It's absolute madness to me. The way they're approaching their development of this game is absolutely just mind-blowing to me. It's absolutely mind-blowing to me. It's crazy. It's crazy. I'll open it up to the chat. Anything the chat wants to talk about. I saw some new faces this week. Some company members. The big boss man's here. Mr. Hunt and Gather is here. 3 cheers to the Yes server. Sanity's here. Osmosis Chris is here. Got some people who tuned in this week. What's going on in New World for you guys? Anything? I mean, some of you I talk to on a daily basis, so I know what New World's going on with you guys. Tanner's like, what's New World? Is that the name of the new map in Valorant? But definitely New World is at a critical state right now. I will not say the game is dead. I can't say that because I also say Sea of Thieves, which people have said that game's been dead for a while, and it's not. But it's at a critical point now where Amazon really has to make some tough decisions on how they move forward. That's just the end of the day. They've got to do something. They've got to do something. The game's going to be around most likely for years. Just because their microtransaction system, people can't get enough of their stupid overpriced emotes and tents. They can't get enough of that. So it's going to be making money, which means it's not going to shut down. They'll just keep merging servers together until there's one per region. And it survives. But as we said earlier, on Steam stats, it's just out of the top 10. For folks who want to know what the top 10 is, when I refresh this, the number one game on Steam right now, based on current players playing, is Counter-Strike Global Offensive, followed by Dota 2, Dying Light, which just launched, PUBG, Rust, Path of Exile, Apex Legends. Everything under that, current players are below 100,000. And that is where New World falls in. It's not top 10. It's currently sitting at 15, but it's right there with the top 10. New World's sitting at 60,000. Number 8 is Grand Theft Auto 5 at 88,000. It's not far off. It was higher. It was closer to top 10 earlier today. It was actually above Destiny 2 earlier today. But anything about it? Rust, PUBG, Apex Legends. Okay, I can see it. Grand Theft Auto 5, like, I don't understand. But that's the thing though. It's not going to die anytime soon. It's going to sit up there around the top 10 of games for Steam. It may bump into the top 10 every so often. But Amazon has to start thinking about what they are doing and putting out. That doesn't mean listening to people on Twitter, listening to people like me, listening to people, in Reddit. Is it important to listen to your players? Yes. You should not drive your development directly on your players, though. Trust me. You shouldn't do that. They need to do some stuff for the casual player. They need to add some sort of better catch-up mechanic for gear for those players. And they need to expand this new mutation system to upgrade your gear to more than just that. And then obviously the elephant in the room, aside from my fat ass, is bugs. Period. I hope this next update in February. I mean, I can't believe I'm saying that. We're on the weekend of January's update. I hope that the update in February does something. I hope what they come out with in February and what they announce for March get some excitement going for some of these players who are desperately looking for excitement. desperately looking for excitement. But that will do it for this week's podcast. For those of you in the Twitch chat, thank you. I will continue on with the stream after I end this recording, and we'll be actually playing New World. So stick around if you want to watch some New World. And as I have self-proclaimed myself the Sword Master, if you want to watch some sword play. No, not that type of sword. Never mind. That's for a different website. That's for my OnlyFans that I don't have. Anyways, thank you very much for hanging out, guys. I appreciate it very much. Again, if you want to check out the podcast, it's on all podcasting apps. It is also on YouTube, and we record it live every single Friday, starting at around 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Next week, however, just like last week I was on vacation, next week I have a charity event all weekend. So I will figure out how we'll get the podcast in. You can follow me on Twitter, Davrim TV on Twitter. And I might do it on Thursday because Friday, like I said, I will be at a charity event. So won't be able to do it then. But we'll definitely have an episode out next week. I wasn't able to do it last week because literally I was out of state and had no equipment with me. So I apologize for that. But we'll definitely have it next week. But again, twitch.tv/Davrim. And you can come listen in and talk in the chat, and we can talk everything New World. You can open your grievances, and I'll talk about them, and I'll either agree with you or call you stupid. Either way, it'll be a fun time. But guys, thank you very much for listening. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you next week on the Aeternum News Network.